Welcome to the Deep Dive, the place where we take the source material you share with us and, well, really extract the insights you need to live smarter right now.
And today's mission is delightfully paradoxical, I think. It feels like the deep dive we all need right now.
Right.
We're diving deep into the virtue of patience in this, hyper-speed world we live in.
It really is the ultimate irony, isn't it? We're here to help you get knowledge fast
Yeah.
about why you absolutely need to slow down so
It's
fast.
really-
Our sources, especially the work of MJ Ryan, really argue that patience is, well, it's the crucial ingredient if you want a life that's wider and deeper, not just faster and faster.
Yeah, it's the difference between trying to smash the egg to get the chicken, like that old saying goes.
Yeah, I know the one. The key to everything is patience.
You get the chicken by hatching the egg, not by smashing it. So we're going to explore how you hatch that egg, gracefully.
So our mission today is really to pull together the core insights about patience, show you exactly why this maybe old-fashioned seeming virtue is actually fundamental for long-term success, for good relationships, even for peace of mind.
And we should probably start by defining what patience is, because it's not just sitting around passively waiting, right?
Not at all.
Our sources break it down into three essential qualities. They're interconnected, these qualities of mind and heart.
Oh, okay. What are they?
Persistence, serenity, and acceptance.
Persistence, serenity, acceptance.
Got it. And you really need to cultivate all three to truly master patience.
Okay, but before we dig into those pillars, we kind of have to face the music, right? The cultural context we're in. It actively works against patience.
Oh, absolutely.
We're living in a world that's basically sick with what the sources call it, hurry sickness.
That's the term, yeah. Coined by cardiologist Meyer Friedman. He's the same researcher who identified the type A personality.
Ah, right, type A.
And Friedman noticed that this frenetic lifestyle, this constant sense of urgency, always competing, was directly linked to higher stress, more heart disease. Speed wasn't just efficient anymore. It became like a status symbol.
You see it everywhere. I mean, think about McDonald's promising lunch in 90 seconds.
Oh,
Or
really?
it's free.
Right. The pressure.
Or the average doctor's visit. Just 8 minutes long now. Everything's shaved down to the absolute minimum time possible.
And our tolerance for waiting, it's just plummeted. It's fascinating, high-rise architects. They know the limit for how tall a building can be isn't always structural.
Really? What is it then?
It's how long people will wait for an elevator. We found out 15 seconds feels okay, comfortable enough,
Okay.
but stretch that wait to 40 seconds. People genuinely start to panic. They freak out, as the source puts it.
40 seconds. That's the difference between like a minor inconvenience and a full-blown personal crisis.
Wow.
Wow.
Exactly.
And this impatience, it's not just quirky, right? It has terrifying real-world consequences, especially in, say, the public sphere.
It really does. I mean, look at the political climate.
Right.
Politicians are expected to answer these incredibly complex questions in, about 8.2 seconds on average now?
8 seconds.
Yeah. There's just no room for thoughtful reflection, for nuance. It's all about the instant soundbite.
But the most shocking stat, the one that really shows the deadly cost of impatience, it's the California cone zone thing.
Oh, yeah. That's chilling.
Drivers are just asked to slow down a bit for construction workers. It costs them maybe 10 seconds per mile. 10 seconds.
And yet,
The sources say so many people are completely unwilling to do it. They risk the lives of those workers just because they need to save those 10 seconds.
Like,
it's pathological.
it really shows that impatience isn't just, a personal pet peeve. It's a breakdown in our social contract, almost an ethical failure. We're trading safety, basic civility for a tiny, tiny gain in time.
And I have to confess, I am so guilty of this. The source material had this anecdote. It just hit me right between the eyes.
Oh, yeah. What happened?
I was rushing to meet a deadline for a book I was trying to write.
Mm-hmm.
Ironically, a book on patience.
Oh, the irony.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to this local copy shop, right?
No.
And I am instantly furious because the young guy working there is so patiently, trying to help this elderly woman figure out how to mail a package.
So inside, you must have been just fuming.
Pure distilled self-importance, I don't have time for this. My work is more important than her package. That kind of thinking.
We've all been there, I think.
So when it's finally my turn, I basically fling $1 onto the counter for something that costs 40 cents. Didn't even wait for the change, just stormed out.
Oh, wow.
And the absurdity, the sheer hypocrisy only hit me when I was driving away. How I'd just shown zero patience while actively trying to write about the virtue of patience. Impatience makes us miserable, right? Irrational. Totally ineffective.
And that feeling, that self-importance, the idea that the world should just bend to your schedule, that's what we really need to dismantle.
Yeah.
But the good news is, patience isn't fixed. It's like a muscle. You can strengthen it if you focus on those 3 core components we mentioned.
Okay, let's talk about building that strength then. Starting with that first pillar, the proactive side of patience. What was it again?
Stick-to-itness, or the power of persistence.
Persistence.
Right, yeah, most people think patience is just about being calm while you wait passively. But persistence, that's the active part. It's refusing to give up. It's working steadily toward your goals, your dreams, no matter the setbacks, no matter how long it takes.
And there's solid research backing this up, isn't there? That persistence might actually be more valuable than just raw intelligence.
Absolutely. Recent studies, particularly in emotional intelligence, they show that this capacity for persistence, for grit, that steady emotional drive, it can be as much as many IQ points when you're predicting long-term success.
That's huge, because it means success isn't just about having some innate talent or catching on quickly.
Exactly. It's about how resilient you are when you inevitably fail or hit a wall. Persistence is what makes sure those IQ points you do have actually get used productively over the long haul.
And history is full of examples, right?
Huh?
People who just refuse to quit.
Yeah.
Like the founder of Fast Company magazine.
Oh, great story. He had this idea for a business magazine about innovation, right? But investors, they just laughed at him, couldn't get funding anywhere.
So what did he do?
The sources say he borrowed against his personal credit cards, basically bankrolled his own search for capital. He crisscrossed the country just looking for one person to believe in his vision.
Wow, talk about pressure.
And he was literally down to his last dime, completely out of options. And then finally, he made the connection that launched what became a hugely successful magazine. His success wasn't about speed. It was pure, relentless, patient refusal to take no for an answer.
That kind of stick-to-itness really drawing high achievement, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Walt Disney, Disneyland. How many times was he rejected?
302 times.
302. Imagine the conviction you'd need to face that level of failure over and over and just keep going.
Or think about George Lucas and Star Wars. He believed in that vision so much that when Hollywood wouldn't fund it properly, he used his own money.
Which left him broke, right? When it premiered.
Pretty much, yeah. But here's the twist. Because nobody wanted to back it fully earlier, he couldn't sell off all the rights. He ended up keeping control over the whole franchise.
So his persistence, being forced to wait and use his own resources,
Yeah.
that ended up making him phenomenally wealthy.
Exactly. It was persistence playing the long game, with an incredible payoff. His financial future wasn't just sealed by his filmmaking talent, but by the fact that he had to patiently stick with it himself.
Okay, so that's persistence. What's the next pillar?
That brings us right to the second one, which is really about managing the emotional side of persistence. It's no reason to stress or the power of serenity.
Serenity. Okay. Like calmness?
Exactly. It's that internal calmness of spirit, making your inner experience feel, as the source puts it, more like a still pond than a raging river.
I like that image.
Yeah.
So serenity here means patience is kind of like self-possession. You're not just blown around by your immediate feelings.
Precisely. You're not at the mercy of your gut reactions. When life throws you that curveball, the canceled flight, the big mistake at work, a family emergency, you get to choose how to respond. You're not just instantly hijacked by your emotions.
So you don't become that person losing it in the waiting room.
Right. The analogy used is that patience acts like a deep keel on a sailboat.
Oh, okay.
When the waves get rough, the storm hits, that keel provides ballast. It keeps the boat stable, stops it from capsizing or getting blown completely off course. Without that inner stability, yeah, you're the one making a scene.
I saw this play out so clearly once during a family thing. Our daughter, Anna, she was maybe 2, woke up suddenly just screaming with a really high fever.
Oh, no.
Scary. Totally. And my immediate reaction, pure uncontrolled panic. I started yelling at my husband, "Get the thermometer! Run! Why are you just sauntering?" I was furious. He seemed so slow.
And what did he do? How did he react to your panic?
He was quiet, calm. He just looked at me and said, "She was hysterical and you were completely alarmed. It seemed like the best thing I could do was stay as calm as possible."
Makes sense.
He went on, "I wouldn't have gotten the thermometer any faster by running, and I might have just added to the general upset." And he was totally right. My panic, useless, clouded my judgment. His composure, That let him assess things, make the right decisions quickly.
That's a perfect illustration. Serenity protects your judgment, even when the stakes feel incredibly high. It gives you the clarity to act effectively, not just react from fear or frustration.
Okay, so persistence, serenity was the third pillar. This one feels like it might be the hardest.
It often is.
Yeah.
That's okay. Or the power of acceptance.
Acceptance. Okay.
And this is defined as essentially putting up graciously with obstacles. Things like disability, failure, conflicts in relationships, financial setbacks, putting up with them without adding that extra layer of suffering.
What kind of extra suffering?
Things like bitterness, the desire for revenge, or just falling into hopelessness.
Gotcha. So it's not about liking the obstacle.
Not at all. And crucially, we need to distinguish acceptance from resignation. Resignation is basically giving up, throwing in the towel.
Right.
Acceptance is different. It's acknowledging reality. This is the situation I'm in right now. You don't have to like it, but you accept it as the current truth. And that acceptance actually frees up your energy to respond productively.
Like accepting gravity.
Yeah.
You don't fight it, you work with it.
Exactly. You design buildings and bridges knowing gravity exists. When we refuse to accept a painful reality, we just waste energy fighting what is. We add all this mental anguish on top of the actual difficulty.
Whereas acceptance lets you sort of roll up your sleeves and deal with the problem as it actually stands, instead of complaining about how unfair it all is.
Precisely. And acceptance, this is key, it's the primary gateway to empathy.
No, so?
Because when we accept that all human beings, including ourselves, importantly, are flawed, limited, prone to making mistakes, well, that gives us the emotional space, the resilience to respond to other people's flaws with kindness and understanding.
That sounds like the core of patience in relationships, really.
It is. When you lovingly care for an elderly parent who struggles with memory, even if they don't thank you.
Or calmly explaining the same math concept for the 10th time to a kid.
Yes. You're demonstrating acceptance of human fallibility. You're accepting their current reality, their current limitations, without judgment.
So accepting life as it is
Yeah.
right now, that's where our real strength shows up.
Absolutely. It's easy to be patient and accepting when everything's smooth sailing. But showing patience, composure, acceptance when things are genuinely difficult, that's the mark of true character. That's real strength and, honestly, beauty.
Okay, so we have the three pillars: persistence, serenity, acceptance. Now let's talk about the rewards. What are the gifts we get when we cultivate these? The first one seems pretty direct. Patience creates excellence.
Yeah, the great thinkers really got this. Gustave Flaubert said, talent is long patience.
A long patience.
And Georges-Louis Leclerc de Buffon went even further. Genius is nothing but a greater aptitude for patience. They weren't saying talent doesn't matter, but that genius needs sustained effort, patience.
It confirms that idea, right?
Yeah.
Raw talent just gets you to the starting line.
Exactly. Mastery demands immense patient effort over time. The sources are clear. Across all sorts of fields, it takes, on average, 10 years of dedicated, consistent practice to reach expert-level mastery.
10 years.
That decade requires relentless persistence. You face plateaus, boredom, frustration. You have to push through.
But the payoff is huge. You mentioned Gallup research.
Right. Gallup suggests that true excellence comes from focusing on maximizing your unique blend of strengths. They call it your 1 in 33 million combination.
Wow. 1 in 33 million.
But unlocking that unique potential, it doesn't happen overnight. It's achieved through patient, specific, often decade-long practice in those areas of strength.
So it's the consistent application of effort that turns potential into real performance. I love that Thomas Edison story when he was struggling with the light bulb.
Ah, yes, the reframing master.
When someone asked him about his hundreds and hundreds of failures,
Yeah.
what did he say?
He famously reframed it completely. He said something like, I have not failed 700 times. I succeeded in proving that those 700 ways will not work.
That's the ultimate patience hack right there. He didn't see setbacks as failures of himself.
No, he saw them as necessary data points. Each failure was just evidence guiding him closer to the solution. Patience allowed her to see the process as progress, not proof he couldn't do it.
Okay, so excellence is one gift. What's another major benefit?
Well, this ties back to serenity. Patience ensures better decisions and dramatically reduces waste.
Ah, the haste makes waste principle.
Exactly. Patience protects our judgment because it stops that emotional hijack we talked about. When we panic or rush, our brains immediately jump to those scary stories, right? Catastrophic thinking.
Like in the movie Emily. She faces one tiny setback and instantly imagines the absolute worst-case scenario.
Yeah.
Getting upset just makes the mental picture worse, doesn't it?
It clouds everything. And the tangible cost of rushing, of impatience, can be enormous. It ranges from the everyday mundane.
Like me in the kitchen, rushing dinner, carelessly dumping way too much salt into the mango dressing.
Right, you have to scrap it, waste the ingredients, lose 10 minutes starting over, small cost, but the principle's the same.
But it applies on a massive scale, too.
Oh, absolutely. The source material highlights that devastating NASA error. There were rushing calculations, apparently, and mixed up measurements, inches and centimeter.
Oh, I remember hearing about that. What happened?
That single error, born from rushing, caused a multi-million-dollar satellite to completely miss Mars, lost in space.
Millions of dollars wasted because of impatience.
Wow. That's impatience, multiplied by a huge factor. And this link between patience, judgment, and negative consequences is maybe most critical when we look at our own bodies, our health and longevity.
How does impatience affect our health?
Chronic impatience, frequent anger. It's physically destructive. When you're constantly feeling impatient or angry, you trigger your stress hormones, adrenaline, cortisol. Your body goes into perpetual fight or flight mode.
And that's bad long term.
Terribly. When you're chronically stressed like that, your immune system takes a major hit. Specifically, your infection-fighting T cells get suppressed.
So you're more likely to get sick.
Yes, and worse. Research cited in the sources shows that people who are chronically angry are 1.5 times more likely to get cancer.
1.5 times.
And they face a 4 to 5 times higher risk of heart disease.
4 to 5 times. That's a staggering penalty for being impatient.
It really is. So patience, by cultivating that serenity pillar, helps keep that panic response turned off most of the time. It promotes calmness, reduces inflammation, and literally helps us live longer, healthier lives.
Excellence, better decisions, health. What's the third gift?
This one feels incredibly relevant right now. Patience connects us directly to hope.
Hope. How does that work?
As the French writer Luc de Vauvenargues put it, patience is the art of hoping.
The art of hoping.
There's probably no better, more powerful illustration of this than Nelson Mandela.
27 years in prison.
27 long years, enduring horrible conditions, degrading treatment. The sources mention guards even urinating on him sometimes.
Unimaginable.
Yet, through all of it, he refused to give in to despair, refused to become bitter towards his oppressors.
Why? How did he manage that?
He understood profoundly that if he allowed himself to become bitter, he would be the one who remained a prisoner forever, even if he got out. He kept his head pointed toward the sun, one's feet moving forward.
Wow.
His unwavering commitment to a free South Africa, despite decades of evidence to the contrary, was an act of profound patience. It was hope refusing to die, even in the darkest circumstances.
That sustained perspective is just incredible. And didn't he name his granddaughter something related to hope while he was still in prison?
Yes. His oldest daughter had a child, and he named the baby Aswe, which beautifully means hope.
As we hope.
That hope gave him the persistence, the patience to keep working towards a goal he honestly might never have lived to see. And ultimately, it allowed him to guide South Africa into democracy.
It's such a powerful story. And there's science backing this link between patience, persistence, and hope too, right?
There is. The research on college students is really interesting. High hope students consistently outperform low hope students,
Even if they have the same IQ.
even with the exact same IQ range.
Oh, so why? What's the difference? Are they just happier or something?
Not quite. It's about how they react to setbacks. When a high hope student fails a test, for example, they demonstrate much greater persistence. They don't see it as a reflection of their fundamental ability.
So they don't just give up.
No, they engage in what psychologists call pathways thinking. They immediately start brainstorming, okay, how can I raise my grade? Maybe I can talk to the professor, do extra credit, study with a group, change how I take notes. They come up with 10 different strategies.
And the low hope students?
They tend to see the failure as proof that they're just not smart enough or that the task is impossible. They assume their failures and just give up.
So patience, that ability to persist through difficulty, is what keeps hope alive. It lets
Yeah.
you keep trying different paths instead of hitting a wall and stopping.
Exactly. Patience is the engine that nurtures hope, especially when you're stuck in that difficult waiting period.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit now. Talk about how patience plays out between people, in society, in our relationships. It seems absolutely crucial for basic civility, starting with how it relates to anger. Patience as guarding the door to anger.
That's a great way to put it. Anger is almost always the direct result of our patience running out. our reservoir is empty.
So impatience isn't just 0 or 1, it's a scale.
Definitely. It's a continuum. It starts with maybe mild irritation, then escalates to frustration, then anger, and potentially even rage if unchecked. We get angry because we've lost our reasonable tolerance for something.
Could be something small, like a spouse cracking their knuckles constantly.
Or something huge, like waiting months for a critical doctor's appointment. When patience runs out, anger rushes in to fill the vacuum.
I'm thinking of that classic grocery store meltdown scene the sources describe. The exhausted mom, end of a long day, racing to get out.
And the 3-year-old has a total tantrum over wanting sugary cereal.
Right, and the mom, her patience totally gone, just snaps. She yells, the kid cries harder, everyone around them is uncomfortable and upset.
Whereas if she could just summon a tiny bit more patience in that moment, what could she do?
She could offer a different option, maybe try humor, distraction, or even just take a deep breath and wait calmly for a few seconds, modeling composure for the child.
Exactly. Patience creates that tiny critical window, a space for creative problem solving, or at least for not immediately lashing out in that way that happens when we feel emotionally hijacked.
Now, the sources are careful to say not all anger is bad.
Absolutely. We need righteous anger to fight genuine injustice in the world. That's healthy and necessary.
But most of our day-to-day frustration and anger,
Mm-hmm.
it's not usually about profound injustice.
No, usually it stems from a simple lack of what the sources call reasonable tolerance. We just run out of patience for everyday annoyances or delays, so the more patience we can cultivate, the less unnecessary anger we end up carrying around and inflicting on others.
And cultivating that patience
Mhm.
leads directly to the next point, doesn't it? Greater tolerance and empathy.
Yes. Patience lets us stop mentally demanding that everyone else be more like me.
Huh? Yes. That internal monologue.
We start to graciously put up with differences in how people prioritize things, what motivates them, even just how they communicate.
We often judge difference as if it's deliberate defiance or maybe stupidity,
Yeah.
but often it's just a different operating system.
Precisely. There was that great anecdote from a training session. This gentleman had a breakthrough realization about his relationships.
What was it?
He'd always thought his teenage son was being defiant by refusing to make eye contact when they talked.
Okay. Common frustration for parents.
But he realized his son just communicated differently. Forcing eye contact actually made the son more anxious and unable to focus on what was being said.
Ah, so it wasn't defiance at all.
No. And similarly, he realized his boss wasn't ignoring his memos to be a jerk. The boss just processed information much better verbally than through reading text. Patience allowed him to reframe these differences, not as personal attacks or flaws, but just as unique styles.
And that reframing, that acceptance of difference, that's what opens the door to empathy.
It's the key. Daniel Goleman, the emotional intelligence expert, points out that empathy requires enough calm and receptivity. You can't pick up on subtle emotional cues from someone else if you're too busy judging them or fuming about your own schedule.
You need that inner stillness, that serenity pillar again.
Exactly. And this is absolutely vital for happier love relationships.
Oh, yeah. Love needs patience. Big time.
Because that initial chemical buzz, that endorphin glow of new romance, it inevitably fades.
Sadly, yes.
So long-term relationship success really depends on patiently bearing with one another's faults, as the source puts it.
The wet towels on the floor.
The different spending habits, the annoying little habits, the minor organizational clashes, all of it.
And interestingly, the sources suggested that acceptance is actually the precondition for change in a relationship. That sounds counterintuitive.
It does, but think about it. When we truly accept our partner, flaws and all, without constant criticism or pressure.
We reduce the pressure on them to be perfect.
Exactly. That acceptance creates a safe space. It's paradoxical, but in that warmth of security and non-judgment, people often finally feel safe enough to actually look at their own faults and maybe start to evolve or change them. Nagging rarely works long-term.
Acceptance creates the space for growth. Makes sense.
Oh.
Okay, finally, on the broader scale, patience and societal civility.
Yes. Patience is right at the heart of being lawful, of having a functioning society. Society works not because there's a police officer on every corner,
Right.
but because billions of us every day patiently follow processes. We wait our turn at traffic lights, we stand in line, we trust institutions to generally operate predictably, even if slowly.
It's this invisible social contract holding things together.
It is. And the source material gives a really chilling example of what happens when that breaks down. That incident in Chicago.
The van incident.
Yeah, where a group of men beat a driver and passenger to death after some kind of traffic incident, apparently involving drunk driving, instead of waiting for police for the justice system to work.
They took it into their own hands with brutal, instant justice.
Exactly. That desire for instant gratification, for bypassing process, it's a form of lawlessness. It breaks the communal order.
So impatience, in a way, is saying, my immediate need, my sense of outrage, is more important than the rules, the process, the safety of others.
Precisely. Patience allows us to wait on society's processes and procedures, whether that's a legal case playing out, a political cycle, or just the time it takes for a government agency to handle your paperwork. It's the mortar holding civilization together, really.
Okay, so we've established patience as this crucial strength, non-negotiable, really.
Right.
So the big question is, how do we actually get more of it? How do we cultivate it?
It starts fundamentally with a mindset shift. Patience is a decision and a learning process.
Meaning it's not something you're just born with or without, like blue eyes.
Exactly. We have to stop thinking of patience as a fixed trait. Oh, I'm just not a patient person.
Yeah.
It's not something you have. It's something you do. It's an action, a choice, a muscle you decide to engage over and over, as the sources say.
A choice you make again and again.
Look at someone like Aung San Suu Kyi. Years and years under house arrest in Burma, fighting for democracy against incredible, sustained opposition.
How did she maintain her patience?
Her response was this kind of radical pragmatism. She acknowledged the huge obstacles, absolutely. But then she decided to proceed with patient determination anyway. Her focus was on business as usual, moving forward step by patient step, refusing to let the obstacles dictate her pace or break her spirit.
That decision itself sounds incredibly powerful. And what about when we fail? When we lose it, blow our stack. We shouldn't just beat ourselves up.
Definitely not. That's the learning process part. Resist the urge to just label yourself a failure. Instead, see yourself as a learner. Use that moment of impatience as data.
Data, how?
Ask yourself, okay, what was really hard for me about that situation? Why did I lose my patience right then? For instance, if you get incredibly impatient with a coworker who seems disorganized, is it really about them? Or is it maybe because their disorganization triggers your own deep-seated anxieties about control? Or maybe you're secretly angry at your spouse's calm financial attitude because you desperately wish you had that peace of mind yourself.
So it's looking for the projection. What is this situation reflecting back about me?
Exactly. That kind of inquiry is crucial. It shifts you from self-blame, which is useless, towards self-awareness and growth. You see the impatience not as a moral failing, but maybe as a psychological signal. It helps you approach the trigger differently next time.
Okay, so patience is a choice, and failure is a learning opportunity. What else?
Next, we need to practice embracing the fabric of life, which sounds a bit philosophical, but it boils down to accepting two key truths:
Which are?
impermanence and the necessity of waiting.
Impermanence, like this too shall pass.
Exactly. That German proverb puts it well. Long is not forever. We have to actively fight that tendency our minds have to concretize current reality.
What do you mean concretize?
It's when we tell ourselves things like, I'm going to be stuck in this terrible job forever, or I'm going to be alone forever, or I'll be sick forever. That belief that the current unpleasantness is permanent, that breeds despair, and despair is the enemy of patience.
So remembering things change is step one. What's step two? Accepting waiting.
Yes, we need to challenge this very modern belief that waiting is somehow unnatural, accidental, something to be engineered out of existence.
But isn't it? We have instant everything now.
We have instant different things. Professor David Bailey Harned points out, humans have always waited. Our ancestors waited for crops to grow, for seasons to change, for hunters or sailors to return. We're just waiting on different things now.
Like traffic jams,
Yeah.
automated phone menus,
that.
software updates.
Exactly. The average person, even today, apparently spends something like 11 days a year just waiting in line for things.
11 days. Wow.
So waiting isn't an accident. It's just part of being alive. We need to almost relearn how to honor patience as this receptive quality. Sometimes it's described as feminine, not in a gendered way, but meaning receptive, waiting, listening, allowing the future to unfold without constantly trying to force it.
So sometimes dynamic action, pushing harder, isn't the answer.
Sometimes you just need wait power. There's a great little story about a woman, Mary Beth. She found her absolute dream condo, but got outbid. snatched away.
Oh, heartbreaking. So what did she do? Jump on the next best thing?
Nope. She didn't panic, didn't rush into buying something else she didn't love. She just waited patiently for a full year.
A whole year? What happened?
Miraculously, the original dream condo came back on the market. The first deal fell through, and she bought it. Her patience was rewarded because she trusted the timing, she honored the wait power.
That's a great story. Okay, so we've got the mindset shift, embracing impermanence and waiting. Are there any, practical tips, boosters we can use in the moment?
Absolutely. Several very effective practical boosters. First one, tuning out to tune in.
Meaning?
So much of our modern impatience comes from being constantly on. Emails pinging, texts buzzing, notifications popping up, trying to multitask constantly. This relentless barrage creates this chronic mental restlessness that just feeds impatience.
We're tired too, right?
Chronically tired. The average American, the sources say, sleeps about 20% less than just a century ago. When you're consistently sleep deprived, you're operating in a state that's apparently as dangerous as being drunk.
Wow. Drunk-level impairment from lack of sleep.
That's what the research suggests. Your patience reservoir is just empty when you're exhausted.
Yeah.
So setting firm boundaries is key. Things like no work emails after 6 p.m.,
Right.
a digital sunset, turning off screens an hour before bed, actually protecting your downtime and sleep. That's crucial for replenishing patience.
Okay, tune out to tune in. Makes sense.
Well-
What else?
Actively reframe the situation. When you feel that impatience rising because of an obstacle or delay, consciously ask yourself, okay, how else could I look at this? Force a perspective shift.
Like the Edison thing. Seeing failures as data.
Exactly. Or that classic story of the 2 shoe scouts sent to Africa.
Oh, yeah. How did that go?
2 scouts from a shoe company go to evaluate the market potential in a region of Africa. The first scout sends back a telegram. Situation hopeless? Stop. Nobody wears shoes.
Okay, sounds bleak.
The second scout, looking at the exact same situation, sends back a telegram. Glorious opportunity. Stop. Nobody has shoes yet.
Huh? Same reality, totally different perspective. One sees impossibility, the other sees massive potential.
That's the power of reframing. You choose the interpretation that increases possibility and reduces frustration.
Love that. Okay, next booster.
This one's simple but profound. Remember rule number 6.
Rule number 6, what is it?
Don't take yourself so damn seriously.
Ah, good one.
So much impatience stems directly from self-importance. My time is more valuable. I'm too important to wait in this line. My needs should come first.
The world should revolve around me.
Basically, yeah. When we can step back and remember, you know what? It's not all about me. When we accept that the universe doesn't operate on our personal schedule, that traffic jams and delays happen to everyone, regardless of their job title or perceived importance, it brings instant relief. It aligns us with the impartial flow of life. Less struggle.
Don't take yourself so seriously. Got it. One more.
Yes, a very practical one. Try the flying test.
The flying test, what that?
It comes from Alan Bean, the Apollo 12 astronaut. He and his crew were trained that when disaster struck in the cockpit, alarms blaring, lights flashing, the first thing they should ask is this thing still flying?
Okay. Why that question?
It was a mental anchor, a circuit breaker designed to halt the immediate panic, the emotional hijack. It forced them to make a calm, rational assessment of the actual current state before reacting impulsively.
So how do we use that on Earth?
When you feel that panic or impatience surging, maybe you're late, something went wrong. Ask yourself that question, metaphorically. Is this thing still flying? Am I truly in a life or death crisis right now? Or do I actually have a moment to breathe, assess my options calmly, and then act?
Chances are the answer is usually yes. The plane is still flying. You're not actually crashing.
9 times out of 10, yes. The flying test forces that crucial shift from impulsive emotional reaction back to clearer cognitive thinking. It restores your composure.
Wow. Okay, that brings us towards the end of this deep dive into the power of patience. We've really seen it's not passive waiting at all. It's this active, vital strength built on persistence, serenity, and acceptance.
And the rewards are huge. Excellence and success, like Edison or Lucas, achieved through persistence. Better decisions, less waste, better health.
And that profound peace of mind, that hope that we saw in figures like Mandela and Aung San Suu Kyi, rooted in serenity and acceptance.
So the invitation to you, listening now, is to maybe consciously try just 1 or 2 of these practices this week. Maybe set a boundary around your evenings to tune out and tune in.
Or try using the flying test next time you feel that irritation or panic start to rise. Just see what happens.
But the most crucial challenge, maybe the ultimate insight from all this material, is where patience has to start.
This is where.
It has to start internally, with ourselves.
So often our impatience with others, it's really a reflection of how we treat ourselves.
Very often, yes. External impatience can be a symptom of internal perfectionism. We judge ourselves so harshly for every mistake, every perceived failing, and that lack of self-tolerance inevitably bleeds outward into intolerance for the imperfections of others.
So the final provocative thought we should leave everyone with is,
It's the necessity of self-mercy. We absolutely must cultivate patience with ourselves first. Acknowledge our mistakes, our struggles, our imperfections without that harsh inner judgment.
offer ourselves mercy.
Exactly. Mercy, after all, is defined as compassionate treatment of those in distress. And who is often in distress? We are when we stumble or fall short. When we show ourselves that mercy, we stop beating ourselves up, which frees us to actually learn from our mistakes with kindness, instead of just repeating them out of shame or frustration.
It's a beautiful connection, isn't it?
Yeah.
Patience and mercy and love, all intertwined.
They are. The greater our capacity for self-mercy, for patience with our own flawed humanity, the more genuine patience and love we can then offer to all the other imperfect people who populate this less-than-perfect world with us.
The goal isn't to suddenly become perfectly patient overnight.
Not at all. It's about becoming more grounded, maybe a little less overwhelmed, and ultimately more effective and compassionate in everything we do.
It reminds me of that paraphrase quote from Henry Drummond, something about the eternal question.
Yes, the one eternal question for us all is how better can we love?
And hopefully this deep dive into patience gives you a few more tools to help answer that question day by day.